Opposition turned more severe when the RSS men expressed joy and distributed sweets after Gandhiji's death. Under these conditions, it became inevitable for the government to take action against RSS. As regards the RSS and the Hindu Mahasabha, the case relating to Gandhiji's murder is sub judice, and I should not like to say anything about the participation of the two organizations, but our reports do confirm that. Dear viewers of Gnani's World, hope by now you understood on this day, February 4th, 1948, why Sardar Patel had issued a communique to ban the RSS and root out forces of hate and violence. In its communique announcing the lifting of the ban, the Government of India said that the organization and its leaders had promised to be loyal to the Constitution and the flag. The RSS leader has undertaken to make the loyalty to the Union Constitution and respect for the national flag more explicit in the Constitution of the RSS. Thus, the RSS organization got an opportunity to function as a democratic cultural organization owing loyalty to the Indian Constitution and recognizing the national flag, assuring secrecy and abjuring violence.
Namaskar. Welcome to Gnani's World.
Dear Gnani's World viewers, in episode 4, based on evidences, we came to know that RSS does not have faith in democracy, secularism and federalism. Now, in this episode 5 of season 3, based on evidences available, let us see why was RSS banned after the murder of Gandhiji. Before we continue, do subscribe to our channel and press bell icon for updates. Dear viewers of Gnani's World, while the Sangh Parivar and its associates, including Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, are busy appropriating the legacy of Sardar Patel, the organization seems to have forgotten that the Iron Man was a staunch critic of its politics and had it banned after the assassination of Mahatma Gandhi. In fact, Patel, then the Home Minister of the country, wrote the RSS leaders in 1948 explaining his decision to ban the group. These were the anti-national activities of the RSS, due to which the organization was banned on February 4, 1948. The government communique banning the RSS was self-explanatory. As cited in Justice on Trail, RSS, Bangalore, 1962, page number 64. In their resolution of Feb 2, 1948, the Government of India declared their determination to root out the forces of hate and violence that are at work in our country and imperil the freedom of the nation and darken her fair name. In pursuance of this policy, the Government of India had decided to declare unlawful the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh in the Chief Commissioner's provinces. Similar action is also being taken in the Governor's provinces. As cited in Justice on Trail, RSS Bangalore 1962, page number 65 and 66. The communique went on to disclose that the ban on the RSS was imposed because undesirable and even dangerous activities have been carried on by members of the RSS. It has been found that in several parts of the country, individual members of the RSS have indulged in activities of violence involving arson, robbery, dacoity and murder and have collected illicit arms and ammunition. They have been found circulating leaflets exhorting people to resort to terrorist methods, to collect firearms to create disaffection against the government and suborn the police and the military. Viewers of Gnani's World, it is well known that the then Home Minister Sardar Patel had a soft corner for the RSS and continues to be a favorite with the RSS. Dear viewers of Gnani's World, as cited in Justice on Trail, RSS Bangalore 1962, page numbers 26 to 28. However, even Sardar Patel found it difficult to defend the RSS in the aftermath of Gandhiji's assassination. In a letter written to Golwalkar dated 11 September 1948, Sardar Patel stated, "Organizing the Hindus and helping them is one thing, but going in for revenge for its suffering on innocent and helpless men, women and children is quite another thing." Apart from this, their opposition to the Congress, that too of such violence, disregarding all the consideration of personality, decency or decorum, created a kind of unrest among the people. All their speeches were full of communal poison. It was not necessary to spread poison in order to enthuse the Hindus and organize for their protection. As a final result of the poison, the country had to suffer the sacrifice of the invaluable life of Gandhiji. Even an iota of the sympathy of the government or of the people no more remained for the RSS. In fact, opposition grew. Opposition turned more severe when the RSS men expressed joy and distributed sweets after Gandhiji's death. Under these conditions, it became inevitable for the government to take action against RSS. Since then, over 6 months have elapsed. We have hoped that after this lapse of time, with full and proper consideration, the RSS person would come to the right path. But from the reports that came to me, it is evident that attempts to put fresh life into their same old activities are afoot. Hindu Mahasabha and RSS were jointly responsible for the murder of the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi. Was further corroborated by Sardar Patel in a letter to a prominent leader of Hindu Mahasabha, Shyama Prasad Mukherjee. As per the letter 64 in Sardar Patel, Select Correspondence 1945-1950 Volume 2, Navjeevan Publishing House, Ahmedabad, 1977, page 276 to 277. On July 18, 1948, Sardar wrote, as regards the RSS and the Hindu Mahasabha, the case relating to Gandhiji's murder is sub judice, and I should not like to say anything about the participation of the two organizations, but our reports do confirm that. As a result of the activities of these two bodies, particularly the former, an atmosphere was created in the country in which such a ghastly tragedy became possible. There is no doubt in my mind that the extreme section of the Hindu Mahasabha was involved in the conspiracy. The activities of the RSS constituted a clear threat to the existence of the government and the state. Our reports show that those activities, despite the ban, have not died down. Indeed, as time has marched on, the RSS circles are becoming more defiant and are indulging in their subversive activities in an increasing measure. Dear viewers of Gnani's World, hope by now you understood on this day, February 4th, 1948, why Sardar Patel had issued a communique to ban the RSS and root out forces of hate and violence. RSS has never backed Godse. The Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh consistently lashed out at some vested political interest for taking recourse to lie and calumny to malign patriotic and nationalist organizations. Commenting on an advertisement highlighting a quote allegedly of RSS chief Rajendra Singh, General Secretary H.V. Sheshadri said, "The RSS has never supported the act of Nathuram Godse, 1999. A similar discourse is audible today. The fascist agenda of the RSS has always justified the assassination of Mahatma Gandhi. We request all viewers to read the entire text of a letter written by none less than Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Independent India's first Union Home Minister, commenting on RSS activities following Mahatma Gandhi's assassination. The entire text is invaluable. He says clearly the RSS men expressed joy and distributed sweets after Gandhiji's death. Dear viewers of Gnani's World, before we end, let us also know how the ban was lifted. As one of the conditions of the government lifting the ban on the RSS, Golwalkar agreed to submit to the government a written constitution for the organization. In this document, Golwalkar projected a conciliatory front. The Sangh is aloof from politics and is devoted to social and cultural fields only, read a key clause. However, the Swayamsevaks are free as individuals to join any party, institution or front, political or otherwise, except such parties, institutions or fronts which subscribe to or believe in extra-national loyalties or resort to violence and or secret activities to achieve their ends. or which promote or attempt to promote or have the object of promoting any feeling of enmity or hatred towards any other community or creed or religious denomination. He insisted that people owning allegiance to the above mentioned undesirable elements and methods of working shall have no place in Sangh. The RSS chief then wrote to the Prime Minister and Home Minister explaining inter alia that RSS agrees entirely in the conception of a secular state for India and that it accepts the national flag of the country and requesting the ban imposed on the organization in February should now be lifted. The professions are, however, quite inconsistent with the practice of his followers, and for the reason already explained above, the Government of India find themselves unable to advise provincial government to lift the ban. The government communique says, the ban on the RSS was eventually lifted on July 11, 1949, after Golwalkar agreed to make certain promises as conditions for the ban being revoked. In its communique announcing the lifting of the ban, the Government of India said that the organization and its leaders had promised to be loyal to the Constitution and the flag. The RSS leader has undertaken to make the loyalty to the Union Constitution and respect for the national flag more explicit in the Constitution of the RSS, and to provide clearly that persons believing or resorting to violence and secret methods will have no place in the Sangh. The RSS leader has also clarified that the Constitution will be worked on a democratic basis. In the light of the modification made and the clarification given by the RSS leader, the Government of India has come to the conclusion that the RSS organization should be given an opportunity to function as a democratic cultural organization owning loyalty to the Indian Constitution and recognizing the national flag, assuring secrecy and abjuring violence. Indeed, the government feel that under a constitution embodying these principles and worked in the right spirit, no reasonable objection can be taken to such functioning. Thus, the RSS organization got an opportunity to function as a democratic cultural organization owing loyalty to the Indian Constitution and recognizing the national flag, assuring secrecy and abjuring violence. But whatever we see now is all opposite and are eager to change the Constitution of India. Now, dear viewers of Gnani's World, everything is in front of you in black and white. Identify the real face of the RSS. Next, in Season 3 Know About the RSS, Episode 6, let us see, did RSS support the freedom movement? Kindly subscribe to the channel and press bell icon for updates. Also, follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Thank you.